Welcome to Inside the Den. I am Chris Murray. We have a very special guest, actually our first guest on Inside the Den. So John Bender, former Nevada offensive lineman. You were part of that 2010 team. You live up in Canada, so back here in Reno, I guess. When was the last time you had been in Reno prior to this trip?
It's been a while, so I was trying to get down every 2 or 3 years there for a while. With COVID, obviously, that set things back a little bit. But yeah, I haven't been back since 2017, so it's good to get back, and a lot's changed, and it's good to catch up with a lot of old friends.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been hitting up with a lot of friends. You say you leave your place in the morning and you don't get home until like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I'm leaving 9, 10 in the morning, and it's a good 12-hour day buzzing around, having lunch, seeing a lot of different people, and then a lot of these guys have kids and families, and you're playing football in the backyard and whatnot. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's been good.
So the 6 years since you had been here, I guess, what's the biggest change you see in Reno now compared to either your last trip or maybe when you were a college student athlete here?
There's a lot of real estate around the university. So the university's really grown up, a lot of new buildings. I don't know. When I was here, it was obviously tough times economically, and it was kind of a bit of a dusty old town in some areas, and a lot's changed. A lot's changed there, and it's been good. It's been good to see, and I know a lot of my teammates that live here. They love living here, and I'm sure that they'll be here a long time, and I'm sure they're great members of the community that are helping build it as well.
What's your favorite thing about catching up with these guys? Is there a lot of old stories from when you were playing, or more just trying to figure out where everybody is in their life now?
The biggest thing is that you can see a guy, like I haven't seen like Virgil Green in 5+ years, right? But me and Verge played 5 years together, same meeting room, saw each other every day for hours. And it's like you can pick up like just right where you left off. It's just, there's lots to talk about, lots of people we know, lots of jokes, lots of laughing, lots of excitement. And, everybody's always got a story for me that they remember about practice or a game. And I got a story for them too. And it's just a lot of good things we enjoy.
What's the best story somebody has told you about yourself?
I don't know. Is that something you want to say?
We can go unscripted here. There are no limitations.
All right. So we had a little tiff in practice. As you know, we used to get after things a little bit. And one of the coaches I remember mentioned to us that, hey, like, if you guys do that, like, we'll have no choice but to, like, I've instructed my guys to get up and stand up for themselves. And I was like, all right, cool. And I went and did the same thing anyways. And if you guys want to stand up for yourself, yeah, let's do it.
So nobody stepped up, though?
Oh, they stepped up. Oh, okay. Yeah. We had to split up practice there for a little bit. And, as I've told you guys before, I was a little bit the straw that stirs the drink at times, or a little bit of the sandpaper that got people fired up and kind of dragged people into the fight at times. And that was just the way I was. When I play football, when I play any sport, I can get really emotional, really fired up, and and if we're gonna get into a fight, we're gonna get into a fight.
Did you lose any of those?
I'm sure when guys grab you by your helmet, it gets tough. You don't want to hurt your neck, you don't want to get hurt, but obviously, yeah. You just get fired up. You don't want to hurt anybody, but you want to make it known that you're not going to back down either.
Yeah, you check in at 6'8". So was there anybody on the defense that you were maybe a little bit reticent to go up against? I'm not going to say scared of. Yeah. But was there somebody like, I probably don't want to mess with that guy if I don't have
there's
to?
some guys that that like you don't want to go that direction, if you will. But yeah, there's other guys that I was always, trying to put my best foot forward, trying to make sure I wasn't backing down. And the way that the Nevada football program kind of raised me up to be was to be that guy kind of all the time. And whether you need me to get out there and make a cut block in space, or, move a 3 technique, or double team a guy off the line of scrimmage, or go right behind me on goal line, I got to be that guy. And, yes, I was always willing to, be able to do those things. And, when you're playing at altitude here, we see a lot of defenses come in and be really tired. And I had no problem talking trash to them when I thought they were looking tired too. So, yeah, we had a lot of fun out there.
Awesome. Obviously, a big week for Nevada football is Fremont Cannon Week, so UNLV coming into town. You did not lose to UNLV during your tenure, so I'm sure that's one thing that you're very proud of during your time here at Nevada. What were those games like? What are your memories of the Fremont Cannon and playing for that specific trophy?
So I'll start kind of from the start. Like, my biggest memory was the 2005 team that won the WAC championship, and they went to the Hawaii Bowl. Watching the film of them playing UNLV, because they hadn't won the championship in 5 years or so for the Fremont Cannon, and Coach Alt always called it the state championship. And seeing the film of how excited those guys were when they're late in the game and they're making plays, and they're jumping around, they're excited, they scored a touchdown late. And just seeing how important it was to them, I knew that, like, I didn't want to be that guy or that team associated with losing this. And then seeing, our old coaches, like, we had some, like both my O-line coach with Coach K and Coach Norcross were both guys that grew up in Nevada and Northern Nevada guys. And, they always let us know that, there's a lot of hardworking people, a lot of blue-collar people in Northern Nevada that would like nothing better than to, have the, bragging rights over their people in the South or, people in down there in Vegas. So a lot of that was kind of instilled in us and just trying to make sure that you beat UNLV because, as you know, I mean, everyone in town, we'd have big signature wins against lots of schools. And people in town would come up to me and say, hey, thanks for beating UNLV. So, that was always great.
Any red in your closet? So you're up in Calgary. The Stampeders do wear red, and
Yeah.
you were a member of the Calgary Stampeders. So
Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to get that, the red in the closet. For a long time, I didn't have any. And, I mean, I played for the Calgary Stampeders. We wore all red, and I go to Stampeders games now. But I do catch myself trying to wear more of their black stuff than, they have a third jersey that's black, and I find myself wearing a lot more of that with the White Horse than, wearing the red as much as possible.
let's talk a little bit about that 2010 season. That was your senior season. That is the greatest season in Nevada football history. You guys go 13-1. Finished 11th in the country. When did you know that maybe that could be a special season, that you had the guys to be a top 25 team and win a championship?
So I always thought we had a good program, a good team, a lot of good players. And when I was a freshman, a lot of the guys, like, we were all challenging to see who could play the most games as freshmen. A lot of the guys did start as freshmen, whether it was myself, Colin Kaepernick, Virgil Green played quite a bit, Vi, a lot of different guys, and then a lot of guys on defense as well. And just seeing those guys grow up together and us challenge each other in the weight room in the offseason, spring ball and whatnot. And I thought as a sophomore, I think we won 7 games that year, and I just thought that wasn't enough. We had a tough start my junior season. We went 0-3 out the gate, and then we rattled off 8 straight wins. So to go from that 8 straight win team, I was like, we really got something here, and we're a team that could really get things going. And then, you get ready. Everybody's talking about you that season. But, we started off that season against Eastern Washington, a Division I AA FCS team. And, that's fine. You get things going. Had a good game. But the big one was when we played Cal. So Cal came in here as, I believe, the number 23, 24 ranked team in the nation, and we beat them by 3 touchdowns. And, the Nevada fans stormed the field, and, we knew as an offense we could, we hung 50 points on them, and we could do that against a ranked team. We hadn't beaten a ranked team, really, I think, since we'd been around. So that was a big step in the right direction for our confidence. And I think from there, we just knew that, hey, we can win a lot of football games. Let's win as many as we can. And let's try to put a big stamp here on our senior season.
So you guys go to BYU. You win that game. That was big for the program. You beat Fresno State at Fresno State in a very tight game. Unfortunately, dropped that game at Hawaii. But then the big game at the end of the year, second to last game of the season in the regular season, is that Boise State team, number 3 in the country. You guys do get down early, just like you had the previous 3 years. And usually you had rallied back and just fallen a little bit short. Take us through that game and that memory at Mackey Stadium.
So, I mean, just that game was, incredible. I mean, obviously that's the biggest moment of my football career, probably a lot of the guys' football careers, and maybe even some of the guys that played pros football careers. And, just a culmination of all of our efforts. I mean, as freshmen, we went, I don't know if a lot of people remember, in 2007, we went to Boise and lost 69-67 in 4 overtimes. So, and I remember as a redshirt, and all the other guys were redshirts at the same time we were, Coach Hall used to always tell us, you guys are playing all right, but Judgment Day is coming, and that's versus Boise State at the end of the season. And with the scheduling the way it was, we played Boise State at the end of the year a lot over those years, and it was always kind of, whatever we did in practice, whatever we were doing in the weight room, is that good enough to beat Boise State? And it wasn't, you beat, BYU, you beat whoever. Is that good enough to beat the top 5 team in the country in Boise State? And, I was really proud of our team that we, battled adversity. We were down 17 at half, and we were able to come out and, get that win late. And, we were just, kept running the football, kept doing the things we needed to, kept executing on offense. And, I remember just the leadership we had, both on the coaching staff and the players in the locker room, and what we were trying to do. And just, everybody looked around, we didn't, we weren't scared. We weren't, going to shut it down. We were going to come out swinging. We were backed in the corner, and we were going to give it everything we had.
You guys win in overtime, 34-31 on an Anthony Martinez field goal. Obviously, also well known in that game, Kyle Brotzman missed a couple of short kicks. So what is in the pit of your stomach as he goes up for that game winner at the end of the regular season, or at the end of regulation when it looks like the game's about to slip away?
So in my junior season, they had ran some packages and where they brought me in to block kicks. And we didn't practice it at all in my senior season. It wasn't on tape. So Coach Wilson, at the end of that game, I'm on the sideline. We see that, whatever it was, 40, 50-yard pass downfield that gets connected. And we're just like, oh, no, like, this can't be it. And I remember Coach Wilson just yelling, bring me Bender, bring me Bender. So I run over there, and they're saying, you've done this before. You know what to do. Get in there and try to get in the backfield. So we run the truck, and we, try to get over the guard there. And I remember all of us just yelling at the kicker, like, trying to get his attention. And, you'll know that, like, kickers, they don't look your way. They're not trying to talk to anybody. And we got eye contact from him. We're like, oh, that's good. Looking around, like, well, I wasn't expecting him to look at us. He actually looked back at us. That's good. Well, let's see what happens here.
Yeah.
So we all rushed. And, I didn't even know it wasn't me because, like, the stadium just, everybody's loud. And I'm running off the sideline, and people are excited on the sideline. And I'm looking around like, oh, he missed? Oh, all right, we got something here. And from there, I think that, from that moment, we weren't going to lose. And, thankfully, he missed another kick, and we went down there and scored at the end. And then, the highlight reel from there goes on.
What do you remember about that night in terms of the celebration? What was that like?
I just remember, like, it was hard to find the other football players on the field.
Yeah.
Within, a minute or two, the field was flooded with thousands of Wolfpack fans. They had the flag flying right there at the middle of the field. And, I was at, some of my buddies' house this week showing their kids, and their kids couldn't believe it, what was going on watching it. So, that was great. Really enjoyed that. But I remember, like, after the game, going in the locker room, giving lots of hugs. I got my whole family there. I got 13 people from Canada visiting, so trying to get through that and everything else. And then just cramping. After the game was over, trying to drive home cramping.
Yeah.
Just being like, I got nothing left.
I think the vision for a lot of people is, okay, they're going to hit the frats, they're going to go party, it's going to be all good. But the physical exhaustion required to win a game like that probably does not leave you with a lot of energy to go and actually
played 85 plays on offense, and, and it's cold out, we're fighting everything. And, just complete cramping, like shutting down.
Yeah.
Just trying to, see if we can go have a good time with our buddies. And no chance. I'll be on an IV shortly if I do anything. So just go home, go to sleep, and that was about it. And then, go on from there. But that was about it.
And you guys capped the season. Well, you have to beat Louisiana Tech first. Mm-hmm. And that was a pretty close game as well. And then you have the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl in San Francisco and just that experience. You guys really did rally the community. Like, almost never seen before. Maybe those Sweet 16 runs in men's basketball,
right.
But what did it kind of show to you what this community can be if you do put like a special team together?
Oh, it was amazing. Our team, we were able to, to sell out that game we had against Boise State. I'm pretty sure we sold out against Cal, too, to see 30,000 plus in Mackey Stadium. It really gets rocking. It's a really great environment and really special. And, walking around campus, walking around the community, I'm one of those guys that's, I can't hide anywhere, so people know what's
literally the big man on campus.
Yeah. So people always want to say something to you and say hi, and you mention that they saw you, they're excited for you or whatever. And, that's great. And then to go, to the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl and to see 30,000 plus Wolfpack fans, they were everywhere. We're driving the bus past Union Square. It's slammed with Wolfpack fans. We're walking around downtown, going to meet our families for dinner, and people are high-fiving you everywhere you go, excited to see you. And then to go to the game and see, a huge stadium bigger than Mackey Stadium, full of Wolfpack fans was amazing. And it's a really great moment, for us and for the fans. And, we weren't able to do what we wanted to in a lot of the bowl games before, so I was happy we got out with a victory. I know it wasn't the most entertaining football, but, the field was – I hope I don't ever play on baseball turf again. I know I won't. But.
Not ideal. So then you go on over to the CFL and you pick up a staph infection, right?
Right.
Walk us through that period of your life. That seemed like a very difficult time.
So, it was a little bit interesting. The NFL draft that year, after the NFL draft, if you remember, was a lockout. So I played guard in college. A lot of guards are just undrafted free agents. That's kind of just the position. And I got 4 or 5 calls from teams saying, hey, we might draft you, just making sure this is your phone number before. Draft goes by, don't get drafted. And I was like, all right, well, that's fine. Hopefully we'll see what happens from here. And hopefully I'll get picked up as an undrafted free agent. With the lockout, there wasn't anybody that could pick you up. It just wasn't an option. So my student visa was expiring. My visa to look for work in the States was expiring shortly. So I had to leave the country. And I didn't have any much for choices there. So the Calgary Stampeders were, calling me regularly, checking in with me almost like a college recruiter every week or two. Like, hey, if you want to get something done, we can get something done. And, usually they go through your agent, but I think they knew the emotional side of me was like, I want to be home. I enjoyed living in Calgary or, being around my family. My family is from, 60 minutes away roughly and out there in Three Hills, Alberta. And my dad's still on the farm out there. So, yeah, it was great to be home. But, yeah, day 2 of week 1, come in, talk to my trainer. I'm like, hey, I got a little hot spot here on my leg. I don't know what's going on. So he puts a big circle on it and with a Sharpie. He's like, go out to practice and let's check it after. I'm like, all right. And by, the end of practice, I got big stripes up my leg and I'm thrown up everywhere. And, 24 days on 24-hour IV after that with a bad staph infection shut me down for the rest of the year. I don't think that was in late June that happened. I didn't get back on the practice field till I think sometime in October. Dang. And yeah, it was just a tough time. And, I was the original. I always tell people that I was the original solitary confinement before COVID because I did about 6 weeks of hardly anybody visiting me because, you got staff and there's not a lot going on. Yeah, tough time in my life. I'm glad that's over, obviously. But yeah, when I came back to the Calgary Stampeders the next year and was healthy, well, they'd pretty well moved on at that point. They already had some players that they brought in that played, had done well, and there wasn't a lot. There was a bit of a logjam there at the position. So a couple other teams in the CFL were interested in picking me up in 2012. The way those things were at the time, I just wasn't interested in leaving. And, I just said, this is probably the end of it for my football career and moved on.
Let's stay up in the CFL. Cody Fajardo having a lot of success up there. You guys did overlap 1 year. He was redshirting. Yeah, your first year or your last year at Nevada. I guess, what have you thought of him playing in the CFL as a starting quarterback?
He's had a great career. It's been exciting to watch Cody play. I think he's, how many seasons is he at now? 9 or 10. I don't want to put you on the spot. But yeah, he's played there for a long time and done well and been a good quarterback, good starting quarterback. I remember when he was getting ready to play, telling the Stampeders general manager, keep an eye on this guy. He's mobile, fits the mold of a lot of CFL quarterbacks. Damon Allen was just quarterback in the CFL for a long time, and Doug Flutie and Henry Burris, a lot of those different guys, and they're mobile and they got big arms, and that's what Cody Fajardo is to a T, right? And he's had a good career. He won a Grey Cup early in his career as a backup, so that was great to see him. Sure, he likes showing that ring off when he has a chance. And, that's something I wish I had for sure. And now he's, made some good money here late in his career as well. And, I'm sure he could play for a few more years if he wanted to and had a good opportunity there. So, yeah, that's been great to see. And, that's been a really special moment. A lot of the Nevada guys have come through the CFL. Whenever they're in town, I always try to make sure to say hi to them and see what's going on.
I know you've stayed connected with Colin Kaepernick. He was your quarterback, obviously, during your time at Nevada. I guess as you watched him unfold, both in the pro career, leading to a Super Bowl, and then what's happened since his kneeling, what have you thought of just, kind of the story of Colin Kaepernick post-Nevada?
Obviously, early in his career, very excited for him and his family. And, you can't find a better family than the Kaepernicks. When I was young in my career here, my family's a long ways away. They made sure to do everything they could to make sure that I felt like I was part of their family. So, after the games, they'd often go bowling, go for dinner. I joined them a few times for that. And, just enjoyed, being around them and their families. And Cap's a, great guy. Somebody I've been very close to. We had the same major. We sat beside each other on the planes on road trips. I've known Cap for a long time. And, really excited for him and his family. Really excited for what he did early on in his career. Obviously, kneeling and what happened after that was very important to him, and he took a stand, and I'm proud of him for that. But unfortunately, the way that the NFL has treated him since has been tough to watch and tough to see, and unfortunate. And I'm sure he's still doing fine from everything else, and I'm sure he's happy with where he's at. But I'm sure the competitor and him would love to get out there and win some football games too. So we'll see what happens here moving forward. But But yeah, it's been a a little bit of a tough watch for the last few years to see, for a lot of football fans, to see not great quarterback play and knowing that Call might have an opportunity or should have an opportunity.
Another guy you overlapped with at Nevada, we were kind of joking before we came out here, but JaVale McGee was at Nevada when you were out there. Now he's got 3 NBA championships. He's got an Olympic gold medal, almost 20 years in the NBA. Did you hoop against him at all?
I did. So JaVale McGee was my next door neighbor in the dorms at Nevada, and I was Canadian, so we were kids. They're 18 years old. We liked to play Xbox and whatnot. And JaVale was one of the only guys who would play NHL with me. So he was from Flint, Michigan, so he used to like to do that. But yeah, we used to mess around in Lombardi. I played basketball against JaVale, and that was my moment. Like when I was in high school in Canada, I was an all-star. We won provincials, blah blah blah. But when I played against JaVale, that was when I was like, oh, I can't do anything here. He's blocking all my shots. He's doing whatever he wants on offense. He's just so long and can move really well. He was a tough matchup for sure.
We'll get you out of here on this one. Nevada football obviously lost 15 straight games. They're in a tough way. I guess what would be your advice to the team if you were a member of the team? How do you think you kind of get out of this tailspin or the situation they're in?
I think the biggest thing when you're in a rut is don't think about things too much. Just play physical, play fast, go out there, lay everything on the line. If you make a mental mistake, do it at 100 miles an hour. Do it at full speed. Because if you're making mistakes and you're not playing full speed, you're not gonna do anything. So go out there, try to play for each other, look around that locker room, know that I'm sure it's a lot of guys' senior seasons this year. You don't want them going out on an ugly note. A lot of those guys have been around Nevada football, probably through a few coaching staffs, probably through some tough times. Let's try to give them something to go home with and something to end their careers on that they'll really enjoy. And you gotta try to paint that cannon blue because as you know and as everyone in Northern Nevada knows, that's really important to the community and something that they should be trying to do for sure.
Awesome. He's John Bender inside the den. If you see a taller gentleman at the Nevada football game, it may be John Bender. Say hi to him. He's one of the greats of Nevada football on the offensive line.
All right. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys next week on Inside the Den.